Hey, didn't notice you there. Hey, didn't notice you there. Welcome to the Arte and Going podcast show. I'm your host, Geo Angelino. This is where inspiring LA musicians, artists, painters, entrepreneurs, innovative individuals tell us about their craft, how they're using their creativeness today, and future projects that they have planned. Let's get right into it. This production is brought to you by Crucial Dome Network and sponsored by So Fucking Legit. If you ain't legit, you ain't shit. So today, on our very first season, very first episode, I have a very special guest, a close friend of mine. He's a painter, artist, activist, muralist, visual, digital creator. So much. My good friend, he goes by Sacred Circle Studios. I know him as Edson Gersain Martinez. Tell the people a little bit about yourself and your craft, please.
No doubt. Good looking out, Gio, for having me here, dog. Appreciate
Pleasure,
this shit,
pleasure.
dog. Honestly, dog, thank you. I appreciate this.
Thank you for coming.
My name is Edson Gersain Martinez. I'm an artist. I've been painting for the past probably 15 years, man. I've been making art and just grinding on that shit, just trying to create.
What kind of art do you say that you do?
I do visual art, so I do everything from I've done like murals before. I do canvases, ceramics. Ceramics is something new I started doing recently. Like,
I see these.
These I have right here is something I did.
Yeah, these are beautiful, man. Like the different
looking,
textures and everything. This is incredible, bro. Like,
yeah, so anything visual is what I do, and I started fucking dabbing into like digital art recently too. So that's
Okay. So just to get a little bit of a backdrop for the people that don't really know you, what inspired you to even get into art?
All right, so when I was a youngster, I think I was like 7 or 8. Like the earliest memory of me I have of art, I was at a family party, so I go upstairs to the room. I go to my cousin's room, and all my older cousins in there. And like the time, this was like 92 probably, and I'm up in there.
Okay.
And all my cousins, like, they fucking around with graffiti, and they're all trying to do letters and shit. So I walk into the room, and I remember telling my cousin, "Yo, I wanna do this shit." And my cousin's like, "Nah, you too little. You got to start with tracing." So he gave me a coloring book, and he puts like a blank piece of paper on top of the coloring book. He has me tracing the coloring book. And that was like my earliest memory, me tracing this fucking cartoon and shit. So then after that, I lost contact with my family, with my cousins and all them. And it closed me down a little bit, dog. Like it made me like real quiet and shit. So I miss all the motherfuckers, right? So like I remember these motherfuckers like had me drawing back then. So like fuck it, I'm gonna use art and shit. So that's what I'll do, to like I guess to. That void that I had with my family not there and shit, like I would draw in the kitchen table and shit.
Yeah,
so that was like, I guess my earliest memory of that shit. But different parts of my life and shit, it started like art just, it like got me in different parts of shit of my life. So that was when I was a kid. Then I wanted to like.
So what inspired the mastery of your craft?
So after I graduated high school, I'll try to decide what the fuck I'm gonna do with my life, right? So as in the brown culture, dog, all you gotta do is go to work, right? My family won't even talk about fucking like school or nothing like that. But at the time I was dating some woman and shit, some female, and her moms was working at Pepperdine University.
Okay.
And her moms would be like, "Yo, you gotta go to school." And in my head, I'm like, "Nah, I gotta go to work." Fuck school.
Yeah.
But she's like, "Nah, go to school." So she takes me to go get enrolled at Cerritos College, and I enroll, and she's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Shit, I don't know." She's like, "What do you like to do?" I like to draw. I like to make art. Like, well, go to studio arts. Like, go to school for studio arts. So then I started taking these drawing classes at Cerritos.
What was that like?
It was dope. It was dope as fuck. I met a lot of people from all over like Southeast, because it's actually like Southeast LA.
Okay.
So at the time I was living in Downey and shit, like the suburbs and shit. I'm from LA County though, I'm from LA County. I just like saying I'm from LA County because I moved all over. Like when I was a kid, I lived in Watts. Then for high school, I lived in Downey, and then after high school, I moved to Compton and shit. I stayed in Compton for like 10 years and shit.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I'm from LA County, so I moved all over.
So the mastery of your craft, were you able to do that in all these different places also?
Yeah, because I met different artists from all over.
Oh, okay.
So like, while I was going at Cerritos, I met cats from like Southeast and shit. Like Cerritos in Norwalk, in the city of Norwalk. So I met these cats in Norwalk, and they were graph heads and shit.
Oh, okay.
So I'm fucking painting with these cats, and I just basically grew up painting with these cats right at the school. The cat, Hagob Nigerian, man, he's like one of my professors that put me on to like painting.
Shout out to good teacher for pushing art.
Yeah, no doubt. Hago, especially, he has a lot of fucking students under him that fucking from LA, you know what I'm saying? That were taught under him and shit.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to get in contact with him because now, I mean, look at all the incredible crafting that you're doing, man. It's a blessing. And going into that, what projects are you working on as of today?
So at the moment, I'm working on a body of work, and it's basically got to do with the experience of being a brown man in Los Angeles.
A body of work that's like a portfolio?
Yeah, basically.
On a
so basically,
portfolio.
it's probably I'm working on like I want to put together 10 pieces, like 10 big ass canvases and shit.
Okay.
Like they're like from different. I got like a 4x4 right now. I'm working like on I think it's like a 5x6 right now. And
okay. Well,
yeah, so this body of work is supposed to represent like my experiences growing up in LA. But like I infuse my indigenous culture in there, so I infuse like my ancestors in there. So I try to bring parallels between like the past and the present. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I've seen that in quite a few of your paintings. The first time I seen them, it was so incredible. Like I don't see anybody really trying to aim for the types of symbolism and sort of different how would they say it, like metaphors almost, like a lot of symbolism in your craft. You know, that has a lot to do with our indigenous people. And you know, I really appreciate you and respect you for doing that because, like I'm saying, a lot of people is kind of, I don't know if they're scared to go into that realm, but you hit it full head. You always go and master that and focus on your, you know, I think a little people need to, they're really going to be inspired by what you're saying right now, man.
No doubt, yeah. So, like the whole indigenous side aspect of that came from like my set, from the homies from my crew. So the homies would share books with me. Like my crew was, like we was on some street shit, but like we was reading on some like, let's educate ourselves type of shit. So growing up, the homies would give me books to read. Like if you want to be in the set, you got to read. That's how we was.
And is that what inspired you to pursue these crafts that you're doing today?
No doubt. Yeah, that's basically, so me reading about like our ancestors and shit like that, that's what basically put me like, all right, like let me like infuse the shit I'm learning through these books, through the art. Yeah.
For sure. And you definitely do that, man. Like for people who haven't seen Edson's work, when you see it in picture, it really does no justice for it because of the types of colors he uses, the palettes, the tone, everything about it. It's really incredible. Like if you ever have a chance, I really suggest that you go check out Sacred Circle Studios. That's where most of his art will get produced. But this guy has been in magazines. This man has been an activist right there in the front lines, talking to people for the brown power, brown culture, you know. But it's more than that. He's just a dope individual, a really dope human being. And, you know, just to move a little bit forward now into the future, man, because I'm really excited to know what kind of future projects do you have planned?
So I'm working on a body of work, and I'm putting together a portfolio.
What does a portfolio consist of?
So it's basically like, for me personally, it'd be like 10 paintings I'm working on. And like I mentioned, it'd be like my experiences growing up in Los Angeles as a brown man. I'm going to infuse my indigeneity up in there, you know, like my ancestors.
Your what?
My indigeneity.
I've never heard of that. I like that word. Heard it first here, guys.
It's a...
Oh, man. All right,
it's basically me fucking bringing in like my past put into present, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like indigenas, you know what I mean?
For sure.
It's who we is and shit. The reason we got our hair braided and shit.
That's
you know
right,
what I mean?
that's right. Hell yeah. Much respect to our ancestors.
So I try to like bring parallels between like the past and the present in a way like when I think about our ancestors, I think about like all the suffering they went through, you know what I mean?
For sure.
And same thing we're going through now. So like when we think about it, we're gonna be our ancestors in the future. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, you're laying out a great foundation and groundwork for people to follow in your footsteps. And so with that being said, also, I remember you were doing a little bit of mentoring, right? Like art therapy?
Yeah, so
tell us about that.
Also, something else I want to do with art, I want to become an art therapist. I am going to become an art therapist.
That's right. So, that's what I like to hear.
I started going to school, taking these psychology classes. I never taken psychology before. So I started taking these classes.
Because psychology and art, they mix, right?
Yeah, when you think about it, cat Salvador Dali did a lot of psychology within his artwork. He used Freud, a lot of his theories, and he actually thought about those theories and threw them in his art. So yeah, like psychology and art do mix like that. So I started working at a nonprofit last year with homeless youth, and I was doing different art workshops. While I was there, I just noticed how art affects the youngsters, you know what I'm saying? And how like in a positive way. So I started thinking to myself, I want to take this whole different level, you know, I want to continue helping people. So yeah, definitely for sure, that's what I'm pursuing now. So like it kind of changed my trajectory like in the art, you know what I mean? Like I'm still gonna be that artist and dropping like my own personal art, but like at the same time, like I'm gonna use psychology as a tool to help other folk.
That's amazing, bro. I think that's so innovative and ingenious, man. Much power and respect to you. That is gonna happen, bro, and I can't wait to have another episode to see how that's going for you. But as of today, what advice do you have for anyone that's going to follow in a similar path or field?
When it comes to art, yo, or anything that you like passionate about, I just say go ahead and pursue it. And don't worry about what other people say, you know? Don't worry about your family members talking about like, oh, where the fucking money is at, you know? Like, don't even worry about the money, you know? Just go ahead and do it. Just pursue that shit. When it comes to psychology and art therapy, shit, if you're a brown male and you're out there trying to like become an art therapist, do that shit. Because we need more brown males or just males of color like pursuing art therapy or just pursuing therapy in general, you know what I mean? That's something like, as a male, that's something we don't really talk about, like therapy, you know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
When we think about therapy, like we either think about that's like a white folk thing, you know what I'm saying? Like only people with money do that shit, you know? Coming from like low income and shit like that, you know, like our parents, when we think about therapy, we're like, oh, you crazy, you know, you shouldn't be doing that shit.
Sense,
nah, fuck that. We need more people to pursue that shit, like in order to just like have a better mental health within ourselves, within our communities.
Yeah.
So if you're a male and you're trying to like go ahead and pursue therapy or psychology, go ahead and do that shit. Like run with that shit. We need more males in that field.
Yeah, beautiful.
Shout out to the brown females doing that shit, because there's hella like brown and black females in therapy right now, like doing that thing.
Doing the great work, the fighting the battles that matter. Yeah. And so just to finish off, this is some of my favorite part. So this is where you get to share any of your final thoughts to the audience. Let them know how you feel, anything you got to say.
I just want to thank you for having me right here, Geo. I think this is dope as fuck. I think you're going to touch a lot of people with this podcast. And I know you're going to have a hella creatives out here, because like between us, we know a gang of people in the land that do a lot of creative shit out here.
I appreciate that, man.
Other than that, yo, I just want to get a shout out to the homies, C's, Kid, Curse, fucking Blue, R.I.P. Denver, Mo, I see you, homie. Welcome back home. Shout out to Hago. Shout out to Tunic and Jeff, the Southeast motherfuckers. And shout out to all the homies that just fucking support me and show me love. Like, it's important that you have people that support you, and it's important you have them close to you and shit. You know what I mean?
No doubt, man.
And I appreciate that, y'all. Like, I really appreciate y'all fucking just pushing me and like telling me that I should keep on pursuing this shit. Because if it wasn't for y'all, like, I wouldn't be doing this shit like this.
The feeling is mutual, brother. Yeah. I mean, like, you were one of the reasons I would always tell you about this idea, and you were like, well, when's it going to happen? And now we're here, brother. And you know, it's an honor, and I'm so blessed to have you here, bro. And it's all love. And one thing that we do here on the At and Going podcast show, we end it with a shot. So if you could do me a favor, grab a couple of those little shot glasses.
Shit.
And you said you wanted Jack Daniel's honey, so what do you know? We
honey,
have some.
dog.
I'm about to do this for a little something right here. We're going to do single shots. Here you go, sir. And for everybody, please drink responsibly. We are both over 21 years of age. We are going to enjoy ourselves. Salud to many blessings, homie. And to brown people coming up and being creative artists together.
Gracias.
Salud. So there we have it, guys. First season, first episode of the At and Going podcast with me, your host, Geo Angelino. We're here in the Crucial Dome Network. Hope to see you guys again soon. Stay blessed. Much love.